Alright, boys, let's go. New video. So excited to make this one. 0.2 update right around the corner. This video is just about my thoughts, what I'm hoping to see. We're going to talk about what we did see, what they mentioned, where we think their head's at when it comes to balance and whatnot, what you can expect. This isn't going to be a guide on how to play when the new league drops. It's more so going to be some information that you can use to better your experience, and some opinions from somebody with a lot of time played in the game. I'll try to keep the intro short, super brief. As always, thank you guys so much for the support. Today we reached our sub goal ever on Twitch, 787 subs. You guys are funny, but couldn't be more appreciative of that. The first thing we're going to jump into though is these new ascendancies. We've got 5 new ones. Got a brand new character. New character comes with 25 skills. They're dropping 100 new uniques, 100 new support gems, something along those lines of support gems. So this build, this video is going to be less about like what build we're going to run because we don't have the patch notes yet, and it's more so going to be about my thoughts on what information we've been given. So yeah, again, thank you guys so much for the support. We're just going to get right into it. We're going to jump into the first ascendancy for the new character, Huntress. Yeah, I don't even remember the name of the ascendancy, but this is the one that it is. And we're just going to go node by node, talk about what we think about them. This first little pathway node right here is an accuracy rating one. You probably think accuracy is bad. If you're not familiar with how the spear works, it's melee and projectile. So you've got your melee skills, and they're all combo based, according to the video that PoE dropped. If you haven't seen that, we'll have it linked below. Don't worry, you can watch that with an what term would you use? Untainted opinion. If I rip to shreds the ascendancy you were thinking about playing, do not let me ruin your fun. Do whatever you like. And yeah, it's an ARPG. Don't let me tell you how to play. What the hell? You bought the game. You bought the game. I didn't buy it for you. Play it however you like. But you might look at a stat like accuracy and say, hey, dude, this really sucks. But critical strike, this first notable right here, if you can see my little mouse, chance to hit with attacks can exceed 100%. Gain additional crit hit chance equal to 25% of excess chance to hit with attacks. So what does this tell you? Stack some accuracy up. This is going to result in really high crit chance if you get some crit damage bonus, and you got a lot of crit chance. Yeah. Accuracy good, which means dex is good because dex equals accuracy. Next little node, we don't have any information on this highway node right here, but this next one, penetrate. Attacks using your weapons have added physical damage equal to 25% of accuracy rating on the weapon. The more accuracy on your weapon, the more added phys you'll get. And that's equal to 25% of the accuracy rating on your weapon. So obviously accuracy can roll as a stat on the weapon. If you're not familiar with the spear, they're one-handed weapons, and in the video they were coupled often with a parrying shield. If that isn't your cup of tea, in POB2 there is a, I don't know if it's data mined, but if in the POB2 database, whatever the hell it's called, POE2DB, there is a spear that's base is two-handed. That's what my eyes are fixated on. I really don't feel like running a shield, and I really don't feel like parrying, and I feel like once your character gets strong enough, those things shouldn't be part of your gameplay loop. A lot of the combos they were showing off in the video are 3-hit, so it's like hit, hit, hit kind of thing, and I don't feel like parrying and then hitting 3 times. That's just not my cup of tea. Yeah, so that's that notable. These 2 bottom ones for these 4 points seem pretty good. Remember, you only get 8 points for these in total. These ones seem enticing for damage. We're not going to talk about hardcore viability and things like that. Save that for another video. I don't have enough experience to be speaking on hardcore, to be honest with you. But yeah, if you're a hardcore player or you're thinking about playing SSF, you want to think more defensive than that. We'll briefly touch on whether we think something's good enough to be played in hardcore or not, but we're not going to go super in-depth on that. Alright, next little notable we got here. We don't know what this little highway node is here, but this one's a Predatory Instinct. Reveal weaknesses on rare and unique enemies. 50% more damage against enemies than open weakness. So if you don't know what weaknesses are it's a new thing. There's like a health bar on the boss, or there's a health bar on the rare monster, And within the health bar, there's like a subsection of a different color red in the health bar. And in the event that you're within that section of the health bar, like you've done enough damage to get into it, you get 50% more damage against enemies with an open weakness. And that's more, not additional, so keep that in mind. Alright, next little highway node is skill speed. And then the one that follows that is in for the kill. 20% increased movement speed while an enemy with an open weakness is in your presence. 40% increased skill speed while an enemy with an open weakness is in your presence. Skill speed is attack speed and cast speed, if you didn't know. It's also weapon swap speed. It's the best of the three because it's all encompassing. Presence is, imagine there's like an aura around your character that's invisible to you. In this game, default presence is like 6%, 6 meters, which is quantified with like an invisible bubble. You can just assume that it takes up a third of your screen. I might be able to put a visual up of what presence is like in this game. But yeah, I might have misremembered the number, but presence is usually enough. There is a, I think it's called the Alpha Howl helmet. You can increase the radius of your presence. You can actually double it. But yeah, monsters run to you. Monsters stay within your presence. If you're fighting the boss, you should always have them within your presence anyway. So I don't think you need to worry about the presence part of this. But those two also seem pretty solid. I mean, it's just more damage. If you took these bottom 8, this is just like boss kill city. This also applies to not just rare. Weaknesses are against rare and unique, so keep that in mind. Alright, next we've got this evasion node, the one that follows, elemental infusion. When you consume a power charge, trigger infused weapon and gain 2 cold infusion. Endurance charge is fire infusion, frenzy charge is lightning infusion. This is Elidam. I can see a world where this is 100% pick rate, and I can see a world where this is bad. Not sure how it's going to scale. Don't have enough information. I can only go off of what we already have in the game. Don't know what the balance is going to look like just yet. We know that they have plans on nerfing a bunch of stuff, but yeah, this one's up in the air. Infused avatar is 50% chance for infusion to not be consumed when infusing a projectile. So if you don't know where this character starts on the tree, my logic for this is the bow skills are green, the spear skills are green. These are the ones that are going to be coming. The ranger starts over here on the tree. I would assume the ranger, by virtue of the ranger starting here and having the green weapon, the huntress is also going to start here on the tree. And all of these nodes are going to be different. For example, if you're on Sork, your starting nodes are going to be different than if you're on Witch, both of which start from here. There are no characters that start on this side yet. Huntress is going to be over here. And there are charges close to the start. I'm assuming the gaining of charges, the reuptake of charges is all going to be pretty straightforward. I can't imagine it's that hard. So you can get to theory crafting a little bit on, you know, charge uptime, whether you want a bunch of uptime, whether you want a bunch of them to be consumed, whatever. That's your prerogative when you're making your new build. But at the end of the day, just have fun. These seem good. I can see a world where you use elemental infusion and you don't need infused avatar because you're getting so many. But yeah, this is only for projectiles, so this isn't for stabby, stabby, stab. Basically how this works, by the way, you throw a projectile, if it's infused, it blows up. That's how it works. Next one, we're going to go through this middle here. Stalking Panther is this notable. Evasion rating from equipped helmet, gloves, and boots is doubled. Evasion rating from equipped body armor is halved. This is really sick. It enables you to run hybrid helmet, gloves, boots if you want a super stack evasion. Remember, we can benefit from that over here somewhere. I forget which one it was. Doesn't matter, it's besides the point. Maybe I misremembered that. Whatever. Evasion, good. Evasion rating from equipped body armor is halved, so maybe you don't want to get an ES or an evasion base, and you want to get an ES base and get some energy shield in the mix. Who knows? But yeah, go have fun with this one. Stalking Panther seems really fucking strong, by the way. All right, this one's got a life leech. If you don't know how leech works, basically physical damage you can leech back as life. They really made it an emphasis, or they made an emphasis to really make leech not so good in this game because it was like a crutch for many builds that didn't want to get defensive layers in PoE 1. So leech isn't that good in this game on purpose. This one has an increased amount of life leeched on Fizz, and then the the subsequent notable that follows it is Mystic Harvest. Leech Life. Life Leech recovers based on your elemental damage as well as physical damage, so it isn't just the Fizz anymore. Now it's the Ellie. Maybe think about pairing that with something like an Elemental Infusion. It's up to you. Also, there's a Spear that's got a lightning damage base as the attack style. Whatever. This next one, Flask Recovery, increased life and mana recovery from flasks, and the one that follows is Azmerian Brew. Life flasks also recover mana. Mana flasks also recover life. So you can press either and you can benefit from it. Immediately my brain goes to Olroth's Resolve. If you can get one of those early and it works how people think it's going to work, you're going to get an insane amount of guard for that flask. So if you can farm Expedition and get that early, yeah, you're going to be doing the worm. Sounds pretty good. Maelstrom also might be good, but I can't see this as the type of character that's going to be getting CI, but I could be wrong. Maybe solving for Chaos isn't so easy. But yeah, this is the first ascendancy. Dang, what's the name of it? What's the name? Yeah, don't remember. Who gives a shit? Figure it out. The one that looks like this. Alright, next. This is the Ritualist. This is the one that caught my eye the most. Right off the bat, we're just going to go from the left. This is our starting point. All three of these notes are really bad. This one's minus 15 to all Ellie. That seems really easy to solve for. 25% reduced spirit seems not so good. If you've got a lot more spirit, that's going to hurt you a bunch. Reduced mana seems whatever. This probably isn't going to be a mana-based character anyways. I feel like reduced mana and reduced resistances are going to be really easy to get out of the way. I've dealt with controlled metamorphosis on my current character. Solving for 15 Ellie res is not impossible. But the subsequent one that follows is called Unfurled Finger. Now your character, instead of having 2 fingers for 2 rings, has 3 instead of 10, like you might think. Obviously, there's no way to balance that, but an extra ring slot is insane. Rings are the third best items in the game if we're excluding jewels. You've got your weapon first. You've got or weapons, depending on how you play. You've got your amulet next, and then you've got your rings. 3 rings is insane. If Ingenuity dodges a nerf somehow, which I don't think it's going to, this is insane. In the video, they mentioned that the 3rd ring slot is draped around your neck, and I'll give you some context as to why we think maybe the ring doesn't actually act as a ring and acts instead as an amulet. But the following node is increased attributes. Who cares? And the one that is after that is Mystic Attunement. 25% increased bonuses gained from equipped rings and amulets. So that makes me think that the 3rd ring, which is in line with the amulet, is actually counted as an amulet because it's draped around your character's neck, according to the video. So you get like a third of a decent Ingenuity, and it affects your 3rd ring. So maybe you put your best ring in that slot if Ingenuity gets nerfed really bad. I can see a world where Ingenuity gets like halved and it's still like a must-pick item. I can see a world where it gets completely gutted, or they specify it even further, and instead of it being, you know, blank bonuses to rings, it has some conditional element to it. But yeah, who knows? Ingenuity in its current form is the best item in the game. I don't care what anyone says. It's better than Hoa because it's got a 100% pick rate. There's only one build I can think of off the top of my head that doesn't use Ingenuity, and it's the Infernalist Witch build that blasts comets with Barrier Invocation. And the only reason it doesn't run Ingenuity is because it needs the Flask Recovery charge on belts. But yeah, these seem like a must pick. I feel like if you're going to play this and you don't take these, then you should have picked a different Ascendancy. That's how strongly I feel about them being good. Next, Wildwood Persistence. That's this node right here. 5% increased life recovery per 5% missing life. People are already thinking of ways to set your character to low life with no life regen, and like benefit from the low life reuptake over and over. Yeah, not sure how I feel about that. Might be good. Who knows? But yeah, that seems pretty decent. They mentioned that they're going to change how armor and life works. So not works in the sense that they're going to change it in general, but they said armor is going to get a big change and life is going to be easier to obtain. So that's cool. Alright, Intricate Sigils. +1 charm slot, 20% more charm charges gained. Initially, this jumped off the page is really poor because there's a node down here that you can snag for 2 points called Huntress Talisman. If you're pathing past this anyways, you're going to get this. I can't imagine this stays the same in the current iteration of the game, but obviously this is a new update. This just seems, I don't know, a little lackluster, but then they also revealed that there's a bunch of new unique charms, and, yeah, I don't know. This could be cool. This could be cool. I could see a world where it's used. I'm not going to write it off completely. You can only have 3 charm slots in general. There's a new item that lets you craft on belts with some deterministic crafting. Belts are notoriously not good just by virtue of ingenuity existing, so none of them are even remotely competitive with the item. But if that gets nerfed, belts might be used, and they're like the ultimate utility item. So if you could get the charms going, get some good unique charms that do some damage and farm, maybe make you resistant to stun, whatever. You want your charms to be proccing, because apparently the new ones are damage dealing. We've only seen one, but people have data mined others. Okay, mine phylacteries can instead consume 25% of maximum mana to trigger charms with insufficient charges. So in the event that the charm wasn't going to go off, it'll consume 25% of your max mana, and the charm will go off anyways if you're ignited or if you're frozen or whatever. I can see a world where this saves your butt, but 4 points to get that. Not sure how good that's going to be. I guess it matters how good the charm is. Alright, this next little highway node right here, 3% move speed, who cares? And then this one grants you Ritual Sacrifice. If you don't know how Ritual Sacrifice works, it's kind of like a pseudo headhunter. If you don't know how headhunter works, when you kill a monster, you gain their modifiers. So if the monster has haste, the monster has temporal bubble, the monster has enrage, the monster has increased evasion, whatever that one's called, evasive. You gain those. Ritual Sacrifice is a locked-in animation, seemingly long cooldown skill where you kill an elite and then you hit the Ritual Sacrifice on them and you become the monster, essentially. Yeah. Seems like they're trying to slow down the gameplay loop, but Headhunter is pretty good in concept, but I feel like there can be a point where your character becomes so strong at the end of the league that you don't have time or the want to hit Ritual Sacrifice on an enemy at the start of your map. You just play, but we'll see. This is the one that jumped off the page, is really cool to me. As the Whispers demand, Ritual Sacrifice can be used on yourself to remove 20% of max life to grant a random monster modifier. You can only gain a maximum of 1 modifier this way. Let me rephrase that. A maximum of 1 modifier can be granted this way. So, hit the start of your map, hit the Ritual Sacrifice on yourself. You don't have to hit it on a monster, and you get a mod. Maybe you get haste. Maybe you're flying through the map after that. But that could be cool for some movement speed. Next one is physical damage. Skill grants Blood Boil. Blood Boil is something that gets stuck in enemies and they pop. You can probably scale the hell out of this because this and Ritual Sacrifice both are going to have sockets similar to any other skill. And you're going to be able to put whatever you like in them. They're going to be innate within your character. This one is likely what I'm going to be playing. I don't care if it's bad. I think I'm dead set on trying to make it work because I think the extra ring is cool and there's some potential there. So if you're curious what I'm going to play, it's this. I'm going to get into some frequently asked questions later, but yeah, we're likely not playing Sork and Spark again. Sorry guys. I know we're kind of known for that now, but I'm not loyal to any character. Alright, I'm just going to play what's fun. Next, this is a Lich Witch. So this is for the Witch. Those last 2 were for the Huntress. We'll get to the meat and potatoes first. 20% max energy shield node. Crystalline Phylactery just seems insane. You can socket a non-unique basic jewel. 100% increased effect of the socketed jewel. 50% more mana cost if you have no energy shield. That's global. So long as you have ES, you don't have that horrible mana cost debuff. But all you're going to end up doing on this character is putting in the best jewel that your currency tab can afford. And it's going to likely be a Sapphire that's got 20% maximum energy shield on it. And something like, we'll get into it later, but probably like Curse Effect or something of that sort. Maybe cast speed, maybe spell damage, maybe crit bonus. It depends on what kind of builds people figure out. There's going to be multiple of this one. This is already seeming to be a fan favorite, if not the fan favorite. Also, non-unique basic jewel would imply that it can be corrupted, so you're not going to be able to put an Against the Darkness in here or anything like that, but this is pretty much a 100% adorned for a rare jewel, and your rare jewel can have 5 things on it. To quote our boy Elon Musk, 5 things can be on this so long as it is corrupted. Jewels are going to be so expensive. Stack up your jewels at the start of the game. You might be able to make some good early money selling those, but yeah. This is probably the best node outside of the +1 ring I've seen in an ascendancy. This is up there with Strike Twice level broken. So, yeah, 2 points to get that one. Disgusting. Next, this little highway node is also an energy shield node. Eldritch Empowerment, non-channeling spell skills cost an additional 3% of maximum energy shield. Non-channeling spell skills deal 30% more damage. Spending energy shield does not interrupt recharge. So in the event that your energy shield is going up, and you're still casting, it's not going to stop recharging because you're taking 3% out of it every time you cast. But this is also a 30% more damage, which is a really big buff for those spells. If you haven't seen the gameplay for this, we might have it thrown up in the background, or we might throw it up in the future, but pretty much this is just a curse character. Deal damage with curses. People are going to figure out something with Impending Doom, Essence Drain, who knows. We still don't have any information on what skills are getting nerfed. They said every skill has been modified, which is cool. But yeah, that one seems really strong. I can already see things like Shock Siphon. If you could put shocked ground everywhere, and just everything that you're killing is shocked already. Shock Siphon gives you 4% of your energy shield back on kill. Something like Grim Feast, there's no way Grim Feast doesn't get nerfed, but I can see a world where those are going crazy together. Shock Siphon currently doesn't affect the Grim Feast over energy shield, the overshield that it gives you, but yeah, that could be cool. It seems like it just global 30% more buff, which is insane. Alright, we don't know what this highway node is. This next one, Rupture the Soul. Cursed enemies killed by you or your allies in your presence have a 33% chance to explode, dealing a quarter of their maximum life as chaos damage. This one, immediately, just with current knowledge of the game, struck me as like, okay, well, you have the condition that they need to be near you, and you have the condition that only a third of the time is this going to activate, and then it's only going to deal a fourth of their health as maximum of their maximum life as chaos damage. So most monsters in the game don't have chaos resist, so chaos damage is pretty effective. The only issue with chaos damage now is it's really hard to scale, and it's just, you know, pales in comparison to things like lightning. Obviously that's going to change, so don't quote me on that, but I don't like conditional things. I want it to work all the time, and I understand that you can get your presence larger, but monsters don't have a lot of health, especially trash mobs in the end game, and it's not about how much damage you're dealing. This one's about how much life they have, and if they don't have a lot of life and they're only popping a third of the time, this is like a pseudo clear when you can just go get a regular clear from a skill. But yeah, the node that follows after that, past this highway node, which is 25% increased AoE of curses, pretty good. Blackened Heart, 4% increased magnitude of Unholy Might buffs grant you. I have read this wrong 400 times trying to read this. 4% increased magnitude of Unholy Might buffs you grant per 100 maximum mana. There we go. We said that on stream like 50 times wrong, and it's like the capital letters that are throwing my brain off. But if you don't know what Unholy Might is a buff that grants 30% of all damage as extra chaos damage. So, pretty good buff. This is increased magnitude for however much mana you have. If you've got 8,000 mana, you know, multiply that by your little 4 for every 100 mana. Pretty good. 4% increased magnitude is pretty good. Pretty good. But this isn't competitive with something like magnitude of shock, for example, is like 20% from a jewel. You get that on an adorned. That's insane, right? That's insane. If you've got, you know, 40 of that with a perfect adorned, and you can get that in one jewel slot that costs you 5 points, and however much 100 adorned costs. Pretty crazy how magnitude works. Hopefully this is good. I mean, this seems nuts if you can mana stack. I'm not sure how they feel about stat stacking, but yeah, So, seems pretty chill. Necromantic Conduit, you and allies in your presence have Unholy Might while you are not on low mana. Lose 5% of mana per second. There's no comma here, so take that with a grain of salt. But if you remember what presence is, it's like a invisible radius around you. You and allies implies teammates, implies minions, implies anything with a allied health bar. And this is in the event that you are not on low mana and you're losing 5% of mana per second. So this is like a minion kind of buff in my eyes. Seems pretty alright if you want to go that route. Mana here, 3%. It's a decent highway node. And then this one is Dominion over Flesh. You can apply an additional curse. Your curses can affect hexproof enemies. If you don't know what hexproof is, it's pretty simple. Hexproof means it can't be cursed, so this makes it so you have an extra curse, and your curses affect people that can't be cursed. This exists in the first half of this exists in the game already as Whispers of Doom. You can apply an additional curse, but it doubles the activation delay, so it's got a little plus and a minus going on with it. This one doesn't have the plus and the minus. I assume if you take both of these, also if you don't remember what I said earlier, the witch is going to start from here. I'm pretty sure you're just going to take both of these and go Impending Doom, right? Because why not? People already have had little Impending Doom builds. None of them have been that good, but I can see a world where you get the Impending Doom chain going and it farms. Alright. All of these on the left side sound really strong, by the way. Just throwing that out there. You can get to cooking. A lot of you that are watching this are just going to be following someone's guide anyways, and that's chill. But yeah, these sounds pretty strong. This middle one is like a must pick though. I feel like if you don't take this, you're crazy. But this next one, Highway Node, 30% increased energy shield if you've consumed a power charge recently. Power charge give you crit chance or crit damage, one of the two. I don't know. Non-channeling spell skills consume power charges to deal 25% more damage. So if you've got a way to re-up these over and over and over and over, you're just going to get 25% more over and over and over and over. More is good, just so you know. So that's this one. That's a little 2-pointer. Assuming that everyone's going to get this middle one, remember you only have 6 points to play with on either side, so keep that in mind. And then this little highway node right here where the mouse is, no idea what this does. There's no graph that tells me. Soulless Form, 10% of damage taken bypasses energy shield, no inherent mana regen, regenerate mana equal to 6% of maximum life per second. So this is trying to get you off of Chaos Inoculation, because 6% of 1 is not a value that they can heal you with. So this is like a... I don't want to talk about this one without reading the next one, and you guys can do the math in your head of like how good this might sound. This is all pretty much like a pseudo Chaos Inok where you get to keep your life. So 10% of damage taken bypasses energy shield goes straight to your life, right? So you can imagine that you're only getting hit for 90% of like the brunt of an attack to the energy shield, and the rest is going to your life. You don't regen your mana. That, you know, you can just get mana on kill on a Sapphire. We're not worried about this second line. That sounds really bad. Mana regen's a horrible set anyways. You can ignore it. Eternal Life, unless they change it. Your life cannot change while you have energy shield. So if you get these two, you're immune to poison. You're immune to anything that can affect you under your energy shield. So you don't have to run CI. And this is pretty much just a 10% damage negation. Flat to your character. This sounds like a shitty Enfeeble, but I'm sure people are going to find something broken with this, where you get your life to low life, and you benefit from things like this over here maybe. 20% increased cast speed while on low life. There's a lot of things if you just search low life. Some of you are low lives, you know exactly where these are on your tree. But yeah, there's some low life nodes that people can abuse. I'm sure that I'm on a Sork, obviously, so my nodes are a little bit different. I'm sure there are going to be some for the Witch that I haven't seen. I've never played Witch, so keep that in mind, that this might be something that gets abused. But yeah, seems pretty good. This was my second choice in the event that this first one is like horrible for some reason. I could see myself rolling into this and figuring out some gross stuff here. Alright, this one's for the Warrior. Don't remember his name. Blacksmith guy. That's what we're calling him. Blacksmith guy. Let's go. Just before we even talk about it, this probably looks like what the hell. This is insane for SSF, and this is insane for hardcore. Just throwing those out there. If you play those, this is going to be your guy. If if they're doing what they say they're going to be doing and Warrior's getting buffed, I could see this being the best in the game. It's if you just compare it to the two existing Warrior ones, this one seems ridiculous. We'll go over the Smith's Masterwork after we go over Coal Stoker. So Heat of the Forge grants fire spell on hit. I'm assuming people are just going to put in something like flammability, keeping it low level. Every time they hit, they get a flammability going. Seems pretty gross. Also, it's a spell. Warriors typically don't go crazy with spells. The other two ones are Manifest Weapon and Temper Weapon. Temper Weapon buffs your current weapon. You've got to swing on a little anvil and like AFK for a second in your map. That seems cringe to me. It's probably going to be broken, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But I don't like the idea of that. Probably wouldn't use it even if it was good. The next one's Manifest Weapon. It's a minion that it serves as your weapon. It's like a specter of your weapon, and it goes around beating the crap out of people. In the demo, the attack speed on it was really slow, so it kind of looked like shit, but just know that people will figure out a way to break this and make it really good. Obviously, the better your weapon is, the better your Manifest Weapon is going to be, so keep that in mind. It's got a ceiling that's really high. This one is the one that seems crazy to me. Coal Stoker. Modifiers to fire resistance also grant cold and lightning resistance at 50% of their value. If you've got a really good 75% fire resistance from somewhere, that's going to reflect this 37.5 cold and lightning. So that's gross. You're pretty much getting a little 1.5 multiplier on all of your reses so long as the fire is good. The one that follows, Forged in Flame, modifiers to maximum fire resistance also grant maximum cold and lightning res. If you can't see where this is going, it's pretty much just stack res, take no damage. All we got to do with this character in the event that you play it is figure out how you're going to deal damage, and hey, people in PoE are really good at doing that. So this next one is pretty simple. It looks really overwhelming. This point right here is free. All the remaining points you have can go into crafting a normal body armor with these modifiers. These modifiers don't exist in the game. All of these are unique to what this chest is going to be. So imagine you take Coal Stoker and then you're like, alright, I've got 6 points. I'm going to throw 75 fire res on it and get that cap. That's also going to reflect as cold and lightning, half of it. And I'm going to throw 20% increased strength. That's going to give me a bunch of life. And then I'm going to throw in Katavan Engraving and get another 15% increased life. You can see where this is going to go. The only one that seemed really bad off the top of my head at first glance was Internal Layer. That one seems pretty butt. Heat Proofing seems pretty butt. Heavy Bracing is like whatever. Yeah, but I can see a world where people just like go all in on the body armor, pick up Coal Stoker, pick up Forged in Flame, and they just become like a super tank, right? Because Flowing Metal with Forged in Flame is a combo. This seems really good. It seems really good. Just know that you can't use a regular body armor. You have to use a normal one. And also remember that you can corrupt a normal one for an implicit. It doesn't say you can't use a corrupted normal one. So I can see normal bases going crazy. People might not even use like ones that have armor on them. They might use ones that have something like Energy Shield. I don't know. People will figure something out. People will figure something out. They always do. But this guy seems crazy. This one, dude, I don't even want to go over it, but I also don't want to ruin somebody's fun if you intend on playing this. This whole character is like a party play, support, or a bot kind of character. Everything on here is defensive, with the exception of supporting fire. And supporting fire is stat based. So if you have a bunch of decks, you get a bunch of accuracy. If you've got a bunch of strength, you get a bunch of damage. Like, this one made me sad to read, I'm not going to lie. But if this is your kind of mojo, and you like playing Orabot, you like being in support, this might be for you. But I'm honestly just going to glance over it. I'm going to glance over it. There's a lot of pin in here. Pinned enemies can't perform action seems pretty good, but this is all party play stuff. This seems like super party play stuff. It's kind of like filling the void of Orbots in this game are already good, but they're all like rarity. I don't know. This is cool. I mean, I'm hating on it because I play solo and I don't have any friends. This is cool if you have friends. It is. It really is. Don't let me ruin it for you. Read this on your own time. I'll link these in the description. But, yeah. So this is for Merc. Comparing this to Gemling is like insane. But, yeah, that's all we got for the ascendancies. Let's get into some other stuff right now. Alright, next we're going to get into the mechanics. These first things, they're called, what are they called? Azmerian Wisps. Basically, all these do, they're in your campaign and they're in your maps. It's like a, they talked about how they want there to be this like compounding randomness element that can happen in your maps. These wisps basically fly around, you follow them throughout the map, so they're going to take you off of the path that you want to go. They're going to empower monsters with like these ancestral infusion kind of things. I'm probably saying a bunch of buzzwords that mean nothing to you. Basically, monster get buffed, you kill monster, drop more things. That's all it is. If you see this one right here, has the tag bear touched. Yeah, basically a bear can come out of this dude's back and swing at you and you gotta dodge it. The only thing I'm curious with is if this combos with our ritual sacrifice over here, because these work as a modifier that fall under the whatever you call this mod section. I wonder if you can ritual sacrifice to get that and then you get those benefits. That would be cool to your character for what we mentioned before. That was one of the questions I had that was unanswered. But yeah, so it's going to make the monsters a little bit harder. You're going to get a lot better stuff. We'll just keep it playing in the background just so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, you follow the wisp around. The wisp will get stuck in a monster. You kill it. I don't know if the wisp continues and pops out again and keeps going. But yeah, seems pretty cool. Something to do. There are multiple. This one spawns like little tornado things when you kill the monsters that are affected by it. It says the wisp has to touch them, but if you actually look at the footage, the wisp isn't touching most of these. So yeah, keep that in mind. This one's really cool. It's a nice little AoE. A bunch of panthers pop out. You'll see right about now. Right about now. Right about now. Yep, so dodging that seems like it'll be fun. But that's the Wildcat one. And then this is the rare one. I don't remember the name of it. It doesn't really matter. It's orange. Basically what this one does is if a monster is normal, it'll turn the monster magic. If the monster is magic, it will turn the monster rare. If the monster is rare, it'll turn it into a boss. So that seems absolutely insane. They implied that this one is really uncommon. Imagine this in a breach, just going crazy. All of these things are going to be compounding, by the way. This new content comes with these new items. You socket these like you would socket a soul core or a rune. Yeah, some of these seem good. This rage on melee hit one seems insane. That means you don't have to get this from a support anymore. Corrupted blood is really only useful in the trial of chaos at the moment, so this one seems horrible. And monsters having reduced critical hit damage bonus, this one seems bad too. But that's besides the point. There's probably going to be more than this. These are just the ones they decided to reveal. The rage on melee hit one's really good. Gloves are really not that competitive slot anyway, so this is pretty sick. What else do we got? Yeah, so the wisps seem really cool. Also, they've got it in your Atlas tree now. The Atlas tree now has 10 more points. It's expanded upon a bunch. They changed how towers work. Towers are now 1/3 as common, and they affect 3x the range. You can also socket 3 tablets in a tower, depending on the tier of map you're in on it. So juicing your maps is way easier. If you've watched this channel for long enough, I complain about maps all the time. I complain about how much downtime is spent juicing towers and how boring that is for anybody that's ever played a video game that's wanted to have fun. Juicing maps is like homework. Homework sucks. We don't want to do homework. We want to go on fucking field trips and play recess and fucking eat crayons and sniff glue. So, yeah, maps, no bueno. But this is going to buff the hell out of them, so that's cool. There's new maps that got added. We're just going to skim through that. They all look pretty sick. There's this new little mechanic that gets added that seems really cool. Basically, you click on these totems. It spawns like a litany of boss fights that you fight in a row. It drops you gear for every totem thing that you complete. Yeah, and then these are going to give you special runes that you can also socket. If they would just hurry up and show it already. But yeah, see how there's like loot piles for every one that you complete. you can test your luck, see how many of those you can do. This one has 2 campaign bosses in one. These are some of the runes that you can socket that are like, these are insane, by the way. 8% increased skill speed is like disgusting, right? If you look at this node down here, this is one of the better nodes in the game, and it's 10% increased skill speed, and you've got a path all the way down here to get it, and it's 3 points to get there, so it's like a 16 total. The fact that you can just like corrupt something and just get that in 2 runes is ridiculous. I feel like these are going to be harder to get than people think. Meta skills gain 10% increased energy is really good. Attacks with this weapon have a 10% chance to inflict lightning exposure. Lightning exposure is really good because it can set some... you can hit monsters that have low resistance for a lot harder. But... sorry, I had to take a drink. I was absolutely dying right there. Minions gain 10% of their physical damage. Extra lightning seems underwhelming compared to these other ones, but hey, the minion guys need some stuff too. This is like the little fractured mirror area. This is PoE 1 stuff if you guys are familiar with it. I won't get into in depth, but basically, if you clear corruption... okay, let me not even get into that. We'll get into that in a second. Special map, you clear this out. There's going to be a fractured mirror at the end. This fractured mirror is going to give you an item that's different. These are amulets. There are 2 kinds of amulets and 1 kind of a ring that's been data mined. -1 prefix modifier allowed, -1 suffix modifier allowed. If we go to Craft of Exile, and we go to our jewelry here, go to our amulets, you can get more of these and less of these, or more of these and less of these. Gross. This is gross. This is like really gross, and you're gonna see some best in slot stuff here. You can get more suffixes or more prefixes, so you can get like a... oh yeah, here you go. This shows it. So in this example, they're showing the +2. The one that we just saw previously was +1, -1, +1, and there was also an AMI. So there's 3, as far as we know. But these seem insane. For rings too, same deal. Maybe your reses are capped and you don't need that extra suffix, and you want an extra prefix that can give you damage, and you can get fizz, fire, cold, and lightning on a ring, and just get insane adds damage, right? So these are gross. This is really cool. Essences got changed, really sick. You can now craft on them similarly to how you can strongboxes. If you didn't know, you can put currency into strongboxes. But you can make essences better. There's a lot of this update is focused on crafting, and a lot of the changes were deterministic, which is cool. If you don't know what deterministic crafting is, it means that you can get an inevitable outcome, and there isn't a sense of like randomness to it. In the end, like in the long run, your craft is inevitable. There are elements of that in this update that did not exist prior. This one had 4 greater essences on it, and the boss is really hard. They're trying to tell you, like, do this at your own risk. But in hardcore, this is going to be the thing that you guys are scared to click on. Yeah, but you can, like, Val Orb these. You can slam them with currency. So, really cool. They only show the Val Orb in the video. Next, we've got, from those, you can get, or if you clear corrupted maps, you can get these special essences within the corrupted maps. I don't remember how the acquisition of these works. Honestly, guys, go watch the video. This is like a summary thing. So, for example, this Essence of Insanity upgrades a normal item to magic or a magic item to rare with 1 guaranteed property. Can only be used on belts. This one is going to add a suffix that on corruption, the item gains 2 enchantments, so it gains 2 implicits. Belts are really weak already. The first time I read this, the first thing I thought was like, oh, this is insane, because you can just like do this to like an inventory of belts, and one of them is going to be disgusting. But after you see what it does and you remember what belt resists can roll to, which is 40, you have to do this because it's a greater essence. It must be done on a magic item, and then you've got to Exalt Slam it 3 times and gamble. And then you get to Val Orb it, and because it has a suffix that it gains 2 enchants, you're like, oh, that's insane. It's just going to have a bunch of stuff. But this serves as a mod, and it takes up the best slot on a belt, which is the suffix. So, for example, if you wanted 45 cold res here, and you don't get it because you only have 1 more chance at a suffix right now, you're kind of screwed. And you you kind of cuck yourself from getting. So they got a charm slot, which is like, of course, how many times did they record this to get a charm slot? But yeah, he's going to slam it. It can't get any more mods because this serves as a suffix. And then he's going to corrupt the thing, and he's going to get a low roll res. Well, obviously he can't get double lightning on the suffix, but he could have gotten 40 cold res instead of this on corruption thing, and never gotten this 30 life that he doesn't want anyways. And he would have stopped himself from getting a low rolled res as an implicit, because the implicits up here, these two lines, if you don't know what I mean when I say that, this is also an implicit. I don't even know what these are called, corrupted enchants, whatever. People just call them implicits. These can't roll to 45, right? So I don't think the best belts in the game are going to have these, unless it's like charm slot, chaos, and it's like the kind of belt that isn't needed to cap reses. But the enchants that you can get on belts are really bad, so there's a world where you can get an extra charm slot up here, and that's good. But yeah, I don't know. It looks good on paper. It's probably healthy for the game that it exists, but it also feels like something that might just convolute the loot pool a little bit and just murky the waters. I don't know if you ever want to interact with this at all, but could be sick. I could see some BIS ones coming from this, but yeah, this is all assuming that Ingenuity is like gutted into the ground. Next, they've got Rogue Exiles. These are little NPC monsters that run around that have like player-like gear. They've got uniques on them. If you hover the health bar of some of them in these clips, it'll tell you what uniques they have. When you kill them, they drop a full gear set. These are in PoE 1. These are really sick. So, for example, this one, it's got Demon Stitcher and Bushwhack as its two uniques. So you know that when you kill this, you're going to get these two uniques. And they also talked about randomness. They want the maps to have more randomness. They want them all to be fresh. I can see a world where maybe the Wisps that we looked at earlier interact with these and super buff them. That would be cool. You maybe get better stuff at the end. But yeah, they say it's like similar to a PvP encounter. And they implied that they're squishy, which it doesn't really look like. And this dude's getting his ass beat right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. That would not happen to me. We're one-shotting his goofy ass and taking all his gear. But there's probably a cool world where this guy drops something like an Astra Menace, and you're sweating your ass off while you fight him. But these were cool. I'll show you the clip of the other one jumping off the top rope, like Jeff Hardy. Where's that one at? Yeah, whatever. This one has Coacher of the Crimson and 3 dragons. So you can make decisions on how to fight them better if they've got really difficult mods. But yeah. This guy jumps off the top ropes. Look at him. Holy shit. One more time. Top right corner of your screen where my mouse is. Watch this. Boom! But yeah, they're cool. This guy's doing fucking warrior leap slams and shit. But yeah, very cool. These are very sick. This is incredible. I love this. I love this. This is so cool. Same with the other stuff. This is all sick. This is strongboxes. You guys probably don't even interact with these if you're in maps. Basically, there's unique ones. Not going to get into them. This one has 31 packs of mantras. That just sounds like an XP glitch. Yeah, they changed how corruption works. Now you can actually cleanse the corruption. If you talk to Doriani after you finish campaign, he was like, bro, cleanse the corruption, bro. And that kind of just meant run a bunch of maps. It didn't really mean anything. And now it actually means something. You go to these little sigil, whatever these things are called, and you go to the ones that's glowing red. You clear that one. There's like a boss that you gotta fight. There's 2 new bosses. You've all seen the corruption boss spawn in if you played enough maps. Now there's new ones. But yeah, you clear these, and then after you clear the Nexus thing, whatever the hell it's called, Doriani's gonna show up in your map. He's gonna cleanse this shit, and he's gonna turn all of this corruption into like crystallized stuff. This is also how you're gonna get your new Atlas points. So you're not gonna have that quest that's like do 55 billion tier 1 maps and do 75 billion tier 2 maps. Now you have to do 65 billion tier 3 maps. It's not gonna be like that anymore. Now you just go cleanse your corruption, you get your Atlas skill points, and you're good to go. And then all of those, all of the corrupted maps in the area, I'm not sure if it's the ones you already did, because the ones that you already did appear to be green, or if it's if it re-rolls them into ones you hadn't done already and it gives them the mods again, or if it's just the corrupted ones that you didn't do outside of the Nexus. But they're going to turn into this crystallized stuff, so this means that they're cleansed, and it's going to be like a mirrored world where the corrupted maps are now like cleansed, and the cleansed map have new monsters. Read that right off the screen. And they've got a new boss, and his name is funny. It's like Thanos, but it's not, so we're calling him Thanos. And yeah, this has it's a new mechanic, so it's got its own rewards just like everything else does. Breach has breach splinters and breach rings. This is going to have its own stuff. This right here, you can see a fracturing orb dropped. We'll show you how the fracturing orbs worked right now. So fracture a random modifier on a rare item with at least four modifiers locking it in place. Basically what people are going to do, if you want a little economy tip here, is they're going to buy bases like this, but instead of 3 minion skills, which is doo-doo butt, just kidding, that's actually really good, it's going to say +3 to projectile or +3 to spell. Projectile is going to be popular because the new character is using projectiles. And you're going to 1 in 4 gamble that this hits the thing that you want, which is the +3. Of course they're going to hit it in the video, because they fucking simulated this 50,000 times to get that roll. And then you're just going to chaos everything. If you don't remember how the chaos works, it re-rolls random stuff. This is going to be locked in place, so you can eventually just chaos a perfect item. It's going to cost a lot. You're going to have to go hit up the Craft of Exile simulator and throw in your item. It'll update, and then you're going to say, okay, in the event that I have this, I want max energy shield. In the event that I have this, I want the other max energy shield. In the event that I have spell skills, I want whatever, whatever. You're going to choose your method, basic currency, bang. You're going to go Chaos Orb, and you're going to hit the Start Simulation button. We got to go back and set the rarity of the item. We just lost the whole fucking page. It's a nightmare. But that's how it's going to work. It's going to spit out how many tries it's going to take. We'll do it again just to help you out. But bang, 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 bang. It's going to tell you how many pass out of how many rolls to get those two things. This one isn't going to work because I didn't set the configuration up right. But this is how it's going to work. And you're going to have an estimate on how many chaos it would take you to make a perfect item. And then people are going to sell these for over what they paid for it, because that's how the economy works. These items are very fucking cool, by the way. Very cool. Good work. Great work. Okay, tower changes. Super duper simple. There's a third of them now. 33% of the towers that used to exist now exist. Yeah, and they're 3 times better. So you don't have to interact with them as often because towers fucking suck. And yeah, they figured out that towers seem like busy work, and they're trying to stray away from that. Here, if you do a higher tier map, you can socket 3 tablets into these. So these tablets aren't going to be chewing up your quad tabs anymore because you're going to use them 3 times as often. Or not 3 times as often, but you're going to use 3 for every tower that you get. Yeah, and then they talk about a bunch of map stuff. Oh, endgame death changes. In Pinnacle content, you don't lose XP, but you don't gain XP. So in like Arbiter fight, you don't lose all of your XP when you lose. And there's a set amount of respawns for what tier portal or for what tier map you have. So if your map has a bunch of mods on it, this one right here is rare. You can respawn 5 times. And then if your map has a lot of mods, you can only respawn 1 time. So the more juiced the map is, the Waystone, sorry for you PoE2 noobs, you won't be able to die on it. This doesn't affect anyone that's like actually far in the game, but keep in mind this will affect you right out of campaign. Relinquary keys, not even going to go into this. Basically, the people that bought the best supporter pack could submit an item for the relinquary key thing. You get these from doing Pinnacle content. And then you put them in here and it gives you a version of the item that the person submitted, and it'll have like a little funny message that they tied to the side of it. So this guy wrote "No Pepega roll please" on his Widow Hail, and it'll be like a special Widow Hail. So that's cool. That's a cool little player moment. Last thing we want to get into, the Recombinator. If you don't know how this works in PoE 1, basically you take 2 items that have good shit on them. You hope that all of the good stuff from this one and all of the good stuff from this one get slammed into each other. Obviously, this guy wants the projectile, the extra fizz, and the extra fire damage to slam together with the +5 projectile and the attack speed. He's going to slam this together. This makes Expedition way better because you can actually use your Expedition currency now, which was normally horseshit. And he's going to try to make a god item real quick. Press the button, press the button, press the button, press the button. Bang. What do you know? He gets the accuracy rating, which is doo-doo. He gets the leech, which is who cares. He gets the projectile skills and the attack speed, and he missed the other ones. But people are going to have a ton of fun with this. They're going to sell bases that have like insane prefixes and shit suffixes and insane suffixes and shit prefixes. And it's going to make all of your worst items a little bit better because you can go sell them. But anything else we could get into? Oh, runes got updated. Now they have tiers. This is the doo-doo tier. This is like the tier that's already in the game, and this is the good tier. So these are giving you more and less, and you get these progressively throughout the game. These are in no way competitive than the competitive to the ones we saw earlier, but keep in mind these will help you get your res caps off a little bit better. And the whole reason they added these was because soul cores were broken. Because why would you want this extra fire damage when you can just go get attack speed? But yeah, other than that, a bunch of support gems got added. We haven't seen them all. Not going to make a comment on them. There's a Raise the Dead Spectre thing. This was announced in the original release of the game. It never ended up in the start of the game. Now we got it. You can go kill a monster. You can use Spirit and resurrect it as part of your little minion army. That's so sick for you guys that play minions. Yeah. And then if you want to check out the Huntress, I'm not going to get into it. The Huntress is super focused on combo. We're going to be playing it, but if you want to go see the gameplay, I'll just let it run in the background while I yap. I probably had it at the beginning of the intro anyways, but yeah, basically she's all about combos. You put this little thingy down right here, and then you just jump out of it. You do cool stuff. But yeah, she's sick. Newest character. If you're looking to have some fun, looking to try something new, definitely try her out. Also, that's it for like covering the content. Crafting got better. Don't worry about the economy when you're playing the game at the start. Try to get ahead if you can. Use what knowledge you accumulated in the first 0.1 point X, whatever. The main takeaway from this should not be how to hyper optimize your gameplay and to be the most efficient gamer of all time in the start of a launch league. Most of you, this is the first league you've ever participated in. The first wipe you've ever participated in. All I can ask of you is to have fun. That is it. Play with your boys. Get the homies back on. Try to convince some people to buy the game that would never buy the game. Tell them it's going to be the greatest update ever. And the game is so sick. And yeah, dude, just get in there and have fun, man. Don't forget this is a game. This isn't a social ineptitude pissing match of who can earn. Actually, this is the most optimal way to... You don't have to do all that, okay? Have a blast. Get your boys on the game. Play in a party. Run through the campaign, get to maps, try the new character, interact with the new skills. Don't follow a build guide until you get stuck. Just have fun, bro. Have fun. Don't let anybody spoil your fun. But yeah, obviously sell stuff on trade if you've got the tabs as you go. Pick up items you think look good. Interact with the economy. And if you're exhausted with that and you felt burnt out after doing that, dude, try SSF. SSF will make a fucking man out of you, okay? You've been a boy this whole time. You could try SSF. You get your fucking calluses on your... You got soft hands, son. You got soft hands until you play hardcore SSF. But, yeah, have fun. Have fun. But, overall, ascendancies, very badass. Mechanics, very, very badass. So great for the game. So healthy for the game. This is going to come with an economy reset if you play in the new league. You lucky bastards that were like, wah, my character's gonna get reset, wah, wah, wah. And I was like, no, bro, that's not how it works in PoE 1. Bro, in PoE 1, your character moves to standard. Nobody plays standard. You still have your stuff, you just don't interact with it because you want to play with the new content. They actually made it so you could use your old character in the new content. So, lucky you, bucko. You can play on your broken-ass build day one and interact with all the new content. And, I highly recommend you don't do that and you participate in the new league like everybody and you don't starve yourself of like fun. But dude, there's nothing like a league start. This patch note thing, well, it's not patch notes, but this little reveal is like Christmas Eve, okay? It's Christmas Eve and it's like looking down the staircase in Christmas Eve and you just see like a guitar perfectly wrapped in wrapping paper and a skateboard perfectly wrapped in wrapping paper and you're like, oh my god, I wonder what that is. And you just gotta wait until Christmas. Christmas comes on the 4th this year. April 4th is Christmas. That's when the league start happens. Don't rob yourself of Christmas. Don't rob yourself of Christmas. Play through the campaign on a new character. Be uncomfortable again for a second. Have fun. Yeah. Also, Yeah, guys, play the new league. Don't play on your fucking overpowered ass fucking gemling stat stacker, fucking running around. Don't do it. Please, please don't do it. Don't cheat yourself. I don't know how many times I can repeat it. It's probably sound like a broken record at this point. Play the new league. Play the new league. Play the new league. Play the new league. I don't ask you guys for shit. Play the new league. But yeah. In the dev interview at the end, it turned into a fucking yap session and their microphone was too low. They gotta figure that shit out next time. Drove me fucking up the wall. Drove the chat up the wall. But they made fun of single click builds. So expect that to impact the balance of new characters. They don't like Spark. They don't like Gemling holding one button down. They made fun of that. And it's evident that with certain characters, it's like combo oriented. It's 2-3 button combo presses. So keep that in mind, that you might not deal all the upfront damage that you were dealing last league. That doesn't mean your character's bad. This game is subject to balance. You probably felt like a fucking dictator on your last character where you're just genociding every fucking monster on your screen. That might not be the case anymore, and that's okay. The game was playing at a pace that they didn't expect. That's their vision for the game. The game is sick either way. But yeah, so think about how that might impact your build. Think about if that applies to you or not. Expect all those builds to get super nerfed. They claimed that every single skill was touched, so just remember that. Yeah, now I'm going to go over some frequently asked questions in the stream. This is a good time to click off if you guys don't give a shit about how I'm going to play the new league. I'll make a new video right as the patch notes come out, likely, or right after they come out, or maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just fucking blasting, and if you want to know what I think about the game, you gotta show up to the live stream. But, I just got 3 questions written down. Am I starting the new league on Spark? No. I talked about that earlier. Am I starting on Sork? No. And am I playing in a group? No. But we have a guild. It's huge now. And we have a Discord. And some people in my Discord have organized group play. If you guys want to join a group and play at the start of League, and your goal is to get rich at the start of League, they're going to be blasting together, and they're going to pile up all of their money together, and then another group of players that have knowledge about the game and how to leverage the currency are going to use that currency to buy items on trade and flip items on trade, and they're trying to get rich early. If you have goals like that and you want to get your character overpowered really quick, that'll be in my Discord. It's all organized in my Discord. I'm not policing it. If the traders in the guild are horseshit and they lose you all your currency, tough shit. You're the one talking to the guys every day. I'm not joining that that VC to micromanage that. I'm just trusting that the people that involved are good enough players that they can figure it out amongst themselves. It's kind of like contributing to a mirror crafting service. There's a chance that you walk away with nada. And there's a chance that you get stupid rich. And people take this risk every league. It's up to the traders in the guild to determine what the meta builds are and what the items worth investing in are. And yeah, they're going to be trying to get rich quick. So if you're into group play and you want some people to play with, and you want to, you know, maybe your homies don't play and you want to make some new friends, our community is so welcoming. And even if you're one of the grinders that's just blasting levels, getting to maps really quick, I guarantee you'll have a blast. You'll get assigned a group. You'll pull up with the boys every day at whatever time you all get on. We'll have voice channels in the Discord going crazy, and you can play in a little stack and farm together and have fun. So, yeah, shout out to the boys in the Discord for organizing that. I had nothing to do with it. I just gave it the okay, and I gave them the platform to use my community to get it going. I hope they don't burn me. I hope it ends up good. I hope you guys all have fun. Yeah, so that's going to wrap up the video. This probably went on for super long. I'm just so fucking happy that everything's been going this well. I'm so excited for this update. You guys should be too. Look forward to it. Finally, we have something in gaming that we can bank on being good. There is no way this flops, and this looks like a masterpiece, and we've only gotten a little drip. We've gotten a little drip. We're like the little hamster under the fucking, the little water thing, and it's just giving us like a little drop of water every time. That's what this reveal was like. Once we get patch notes, it's over. Once we get patch notes, it's over. The patch notes are coming out between 4 and 5 days from when this video is uploaded, and people will have build guides that you can follow cooked up in like a day or two. So, if you want to see what build I'm rocking, pull up to the stream, ask me questions. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. We have the greatest community in this game. Just throwing it out there. But yeah, again, participate in the Discord. We'll have it in the description. Check out the Twitch stream. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, let's go. 0.2, baby. 0.2. Lock in. Later.